Good morning, everybody. Shana Tova. Happy New Year. It is Erev Yom Kippur. It is the evening before the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. And today I will be talking about Kol Nidre. Kol Nidre is where if you some people go to shul just twice a year or even once a year. Kol Nidre is it. This is one of the most important services in the Jewish calendar. It is the most solemn or important day in the Jewish calendar. It is the opportunity that we have to come to terms with ourselves, to come to terms with our place in humanity, our place in the universe. And I want to explain a little bit about the meaning behind what does Kol Nidre mean. It's a very esoteric prayer, in fact. It's a prayer that takes place that is primarily in Aramaic. The words are very difficult to understand unless you speak Aramaic. Aramaic is the language spoken at the turn of about 2,000 years ago. It's the language of the Talmud. It was the language spoken at the time of Josephus, at the time of the Romans, when the Romans destroyed the Second Temple. For Christians, it was the language spoken by Jesus. And this prayer, basically, what it does is it goes through this litany of all the different oaths. An oath that one may make over the coming year. What does that mean? Well, it's interesting. What would be an oath? I plan on not drinking 3 bottles of wine every day. That could be an oath. And we may not succeed in doing that. I personally have. But other people, another oath might be, I'm not going to road rage anymore. I swear to God, I am not going to road rage anymore. But do we road rage? Yes, sometimes we do. Season is coming here in the valley. The out-of-towners are back. And road rage is back. Why? I'm not even going to go into that. In the Coachella Valley, if you live in the Coachella Valley, you might find that somewhat amusing. It is not amusing when you're out there driving. But you're going to make that oath. I'm going to be nice to people even if they're annoying me. But sometimes that's not always easy to keep. There's another reason why we want to nullify the oaths that we make over the year. It's because that in Jewish law it is prohibited to make a oath such as I swear to God I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z. There's a whole litany of laws. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't make a pledge or an affirmation to become a better person. But really what oaths are all about, what Kol Nidre is all about, is recognizing, again, as I said yesterday, that sometimes we don't succeed in achieving what we want to achieve in the previous year. We may have resolved that we're going to do this better, or we're going to change our lives for this, and we don't often succeed. And so, psychologically speaking, it's not always great that we're not able to accomplish things, and that this is again goes back to that idea that we need to forgive ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves for the things that we don't do right over the year. So when we hear Kol Nidre, and it's repeated 7 times, and it goes, everyone's seen the jazz singer, Kol Nidre, Yasare, I know that the Neil Diamond sang it so much better. And it actually goes back, Jazz Singer, the original film, Jazz Singer by Al Jolson, right? That very powerful moment where I'm thinking of the Neil Diamond one, of course, the Jewish Elvis. And he goes, that complicated story he has with his father, and his father is so proud as he goes up to sing the Kol Nidre. It's a very powerful moment in the film. But it's a very powerful moment for Jews across the world. Sometimes the melody is slightly different. The one I just sang is a typical Ashkenazi melody, but it's a very ancient melody. It's a very haunting melody, and at the same time, we are joyful. And Yom Kippur is actually a holiday of joy. It's not considered a sad day, even though we fast. Everyone seems to think it's a sad day. It might be a solemn day, but But it's solemn. It's actually considered a happy day. It's a happy day. Why? Because we at this point of, we achieve a level of holiness. Holy, and that's a word we have to understand. What does holy mean? But we've achieved this high level from the last month, now into the new year, and then the 10 days where we get to take stock of ourselves. And so we are now joyful that we have this opportunity this final opportunity for self-improvement, to make ourselves better human beings. And we start off by saying, I'm going to nullify everything that I wanted to do last year that I may have been unsuccessful at. I am going to fix. I'm just going to say, this is nullified. I've got a clean slate, a second chance. We get a second chance every year. So I've been on this planet for 51 years, thank God. Hopefully I'd like to be here another 51 years, at least. And so I make this, I say, well, I haven't succeeded last year. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm going to try and do better next year. And so everything I said last year that I'm going to try and do, and if I wasn't successful at it, I'm just going to say, you know what? I'm going to start again. This is a clean slate. I'm going to give myself a second chance. And then we learn about giving ourselves second chances, or third chances, or 51 more chances if we do it every year. What we learn about it is that we learn to give the people around us second and third and fourth chances. The people that we love, we need to learn that if we have to tolerate our own inability to succeed, our own inability to be the best that we can be, but we try. So we have to accept that in others as well, and that's why we come together as a community to do that, to accept that, and that is why we want to nullify the vows on Yom Kippur. And we say it in Aramaic. We say it in language you understand. We can read the English, you understand it. But when you hear the haunting melody, have that in mind. If you don't even understand the words, read the words in English, or just think about all of the things that you promised yourself or promised others that you were going to do and that you didn't necessarily do, and then resolve for next year. It says from last Yom Kippur to this Yom Kippur. And then we get to do that every year. So it seems, well, whatever I say doesn't, you could ask that question. Whatever I say, does that have any kind of meaning? Because if you get to nullify it every year, it's kind of like you if you're Catholic, you go to confession, do whatever you want, go to confession, it's all resolved. But that's not the point. The point is recognizing our failures or our failings. Or things that we don't necessarily do as well as we could. So if you recognize that, if you're honest with yourself about that, that's the only way one can really improve. So I see that as a very powerful message on that evening. We begin that fast. You've had a nice meal, so you're not hungry yet, but you're full of awe. You're full of awe. You've given that opportunity, recognize the fragility of our own lives, and also the sanctity of others, the lives of other people. And Yom Kippur is that time where we do that, we're nice to each other. We greet each other with the words Gamar Chatima Tova. May you all be sealed, finally sealed. Gamar, it's over, right? It's just the final opportunity for us to take stock, for us to improve on ourselves. And if we do that, today, the next year we can accomplish anything, right? We're in that great position where we can now accomplish something else. We've made that resolution, and we've come close to understanding our own condition as human beings, our own relationship to the earth, to humanity, to how we're going to improve humanity. And Kol Nidre is that time we all get together. We're together as a community, trying to make this a better world. And we're looking out there at the world that we're living in today. North Korea launched potentially a rocket that flew right over Japan. It was very concerning. Putin threatening to use tactical nuclear weapons in the war in Ukraine. We still have the issues of the pandemic that are going on, the financial crisis that is going on, the rising inflation. Things don't look great. But at the same time, we have the opportunity personally to make things better. There's a lot of things that we can't control. So we make a vow, And at the same time, sometimes we just can't control that. We can't control whether or not we are able to. There are external forces out there that prevent us from fulfilling promises that we've made to ourselves or fulfilling promises that we've made to other people. And the point is, try not to make promises that you can't keep. And try to do the best you can. If you succeed in doing it, do something, do rather than say you're going to do. And I think that's one of the most important messages of Kol Nidre is don't say I'm going to do something, you just do it. You do it, and then afterwards, you didn't have to make a vow at all because you did it. You did it. I want to build something. I want to build a business. I want to build a charity to help other people, right? Start doing it, get other people involved, but don't make that promise, I am going to solve homelessness today, right? I'm going to try and do it, and so there's this idea in Judaism, you say, well, bli neder, right? Without making a vow, I will try and solve homelessness this year, or I'll try and help build a Jewish community, or I want to do something for others. I want to give back to my local community. That's this idea, right? That's this idea of Kol Nidre, is thinking about all the things that you want to give back to your community, to the people that you love, the people around you, to your families, and to yourself. That is the essence of Kol Nidre and the essence of moving into Yom Kippur. I'm going to be serious. I'm not making that many jokes today. I haven't made any jokes, really. I guess I'm not in a jokey mood. Maybe that's a joke in itself. So go into Kol Nidre tonight with that in mind. Think about what you may have promised yourself and what you beat yourself up about, and realize it's not worth beating yourself up about, because you've got, as long as we have breath, and that's the idea of choose life. Right, we're choosing life because as long as we are living and we're able to, and we have the health to do so, we're able to accomplish things. We're able to make this a better world. We're able to contribute for the better of society. And so with that, I'm going to wish you all a Gama Chatima Tova. May you all be sealed in the book of life. And I will end with the blowing of the shofar. There'll be one last opportunity to do that tomorrow. So, and if you want to, if you want to come to services at Desert Outreach Synagogue, I believe you can still buy tickets. Email me privately if that is something that you wish to do. Desert Outreach Synagogue has services, Kol Nidre services tonight at 7 p.m. If not, I will see you on the other side of Yom Kippur. I will not be broadcasting tomorrow on Yom Kippur, as it's Yom Kippur, the holiest day of our year. But I will be blowing the shofar right now and then in person at Desert Outreach Synagogue to mark the end of Yom Kippur. But right now I'm just going to blow the shofar so that you all can wake up, Kol Demama Daka, to hear the still silent voice inside of yourselves, to realize where you're going to be coming. Think about where you want to go in the next year. Tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year. I wish you all the health, happiness to your families, to your loved ones, to the wider community. And Shana Tova and Gama Chatima Tova. Tekiah. Everybody live long and prosper, and I'll see you on the other side.